Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable lecturer and my beloved classmates, good afternoon. On this opportunity, I would like to tell you guys about the first journal that Sir Satya have given us, and we're going to discuss it on the second meeting. And before we are going to discuss or explain about the journal, let me introduce myself. My name is Billyon Richardson with name 21030500001. And without wasting the time, let us begin the presentation. Our first topic is about exploring university students' willingness to communicate and unwillingness to communicate in EFL, or we can call it English as a foreign language. Now, this research aims to investigate the contributive factor influencing students' willingness to communicate, or WTC, and unwillingness to communicate on WTC, in English as a foreign language EFL. In higher education in Indonesia, the case study was conducted first year Tanjung Para University students, which came for several non-English departments. The result revealed that there were two main underlying factors that contribute to their WTC and un-WTC, namely individual and external factors. Before we're going to discuss about individual and external factor, allow me to explain a little bit about WTC and un-WTC component. The table of content that we are going to discuss is about individual factors and external factors. Now, in the foreign language PL context, in which the second language L2 is used as one of the compulsory educational requirements, students often do not have enough opportunity to practice their English, especially in the Indonesian context. Now, there are limited chances in which students are exposed to situations that require them to use the second language in real life. Now, this condition makes an array of opportunities to practice English in the classroom become essential to develop their communicative competence. But however, it is often found in many foreign language classes in Indonesia, number students who are reluctant to use opportunity to speak for various reasons. Their reluctance to utilize the given opportunity will not only affect their learning, but in the long run will hinder their communicative ability development. To improve English as a foreign language in University of Indonesia, there are several things that must be considered, namely the willingness of students to communicate WTC and unwilling to communicate un-WTC. Now, WTC or willingness of students to communicate is one of the individual variables which influence somebody's decision whether to communicate or not in any given situation of context. Now, for unlike WTC, un-WTC is one of the individual variables which are reluctant to use the opportunity to speak for various reasons. This research conducts a method where the author aiming at exploring the underlying factor that cause students WTC or un-WTC. This case study focused on the non-English major students who enrolled in the general English classes at Tanjung Para University, Pontianak, Indonesia. This present research posed a research question. What are the contributing factors which influence student WTC and un-WTC in the Indonesia academic English class? The result revealed that there were two main underlying factors that we are going to discuss. That is the contributing to their WTC and un-WTC, namely is individual and external factor. That is the topic that we are going to discuss right now. Our first topic that we are going to discuss is about individual factors. Individual factor is something or aspect inherited in an individual that influences his behavior. In this research, a student referred to several factors, including ideal L2 or second language self, confidence, anxiety, and specific communicative competence. Number 1, L2 self or second language self. In this problem, student can choose the goal or main that they want to do for WTC. Example is that I want to study in a foreign country. I want to interact with foreign people and their culture. This example shows that we already have a goal in the future. But how about on WTC, for example? I want to be an actress. I want to be a teacher, or maybe I want to be a doctor. I'm not so sure what do I want. This example shows that she can't figure out what she wants to be in her future. So we can conclude that WTC students already have their own goal and they want to increase their English speaking skill. Unlike WTC can not envision themselves doing English language related activities in the future, or they merely needed to respective skills to successfully achieve their objective. Two is confidence. Confidence is an attitude or belief in one's own ability, so that in taking action you don't feel anxious. So often feel free to do things as you wish and have a responsibility for decision and action taken. Now this results so that confidence play a significant role. For WTC example, whenever I go in front of a class to show my assignment, I was afraid, but now I feel confident because I learned people can change and ignore what people say about you, and you can improve your English. But for the un-WTC, they are lack with confidence whenever they are in the situation alone. For example, I'm very afraid. Yeah, I don't come in front of my class without my friend because I'm nervous. Number three is anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling that arises when a person has excessive worry, tension, fear, and the like of about something. Now, anxiety happen all the time, and students with WTC and un-WTC have a different understanding. Now, for WTC example, I know people always judge, right? Well, it used to make me feel uneasy about it. Now I don't really care. When having conversation, they don't really talk and they usually play their phone. This example shows that anxiety often appear in some students who have a high level competence in English. But how about for the un-WTC example? Every time I want to answer something, I'm so afraid when people look at me even though I know the answer. Examples show that most people have a fear of being judged. Number four is perceived communicative competence. Students who have positive perceived communicative competence were most likely to feel confident in communicating English. They consider themselves to have the requirement for efficiency to solve. For WTC, example is that I don't really understand grammar. It's difficult for me to create sentence and vocabulary. I don't know much vocabulary, but if there is a level, I might be in the lowest. Now, in this example, even though you're not that good in speaking English, but you have a confidence in trying to speak English. But in the un-WTC example, I feel like nervous about things like tense, and I'm still learning for speaking. It's not really good, but I still practice. The example show that you're thinking you don't possess the requirement skill to be able to speak English. Our second topic is external factor. External factor is all factors from outside the students, including the family, environment, school, and community factors. Now, number one is teacher personality. Now, teachers has different personalities and sometimes make the student feel welcome or sometimes can be scary or doesn't really care. Now, for a WTC example, teacher who does not force their opinion on the student, forcing the student to agree is good for everyone to give their opinion. Everyone has ideas. This example show that being open-minded and did not focus only on accuracy, where prominent personality traits the teacher should have to promote student eagerness to talk to the class. But for un-WTC example, when we are confused about something and ask the teacher, they said that why you should listen to what I said. Sometimes they don't explain that why. That's why we don't understand. That's why we don't ask. We feel this coverage to talk. This example show that teacher made the student feel unappreciated. Number two is type of activity and topic. Now, although teacher characteristics have an undeniable value in improving students, The role of the learning process itself could not be ignored. The chosen activities and topics could influence students from WTC example. When having a group discussion, we like to help each other since we know some familiar place and we also can talk many things. Now this example show that this method lower our anxiety level. But for unWTC example, we having a group discussion. Now we want to help each other, but since we don't know anyone, we can't start the discussion because we don't want to talk. We afraid to talk. Now these examples show that this method higher our anxiety level. Three is classroom atmosphere. Now it's really important because it can maintain student willingness to talk during class. Now for example, WTC. Whenever I show my assignment, I always make a funny gesture to make my class happy so that they can have another entity and another class. For an WTC example, the teachers sometimes try to make a cringe joke but fail to maintain the atmosphere and we cannot maintain our willingness to study. Conclusion, this present study tried to provide a deeper insight on the issue, especially in the context of non-English students in higher education in Indonesia. The finding revealed that there are numerous factors behind student WTC and un-WTC. The factors encompass ideal learning English, confidence, anxiety, perceived communicative competence, teacher personality, type of classroom activities and topic, and classroom atmosphere. This interaction among those factors lead to student decision to speak or continue being silent in the class. Alright, I think that's all for my explain for journal presentation. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and I'm very sorry if I have something wrong in my presentation or my pronunciation. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.